It's the power of J Skull. Welcome back to the new adventures of the new adventures of He-Man.
I never knew a television episode that I watched would actually be a form of self-harm, but I think I experienced watching this. Jason, I've avoided the new adventures of He-Man most of my life. I didn't like the look of it when it first came on because I'd moved on with what I was into at the time. So I rejected it wholly and solely. Only went back into it because part of our show here, our lovely show, demanded it. And who am I to challenge that demand?
No one,
And
you're nobody.
I remember watching the pilot and not being too impressed. And I'm thinking, you know what? We did that about a year and a bit ago. When you said we were going to do it again, I'm thinking, what could possibly go wrong? Like shows get better along the pathway. Maybe this show just gets better and better.
Well, not so far. No, this is episode 4, so we're looking at these in sequential order.
Yeah,
and I can definitely say no. It has not gotten any better. However, as you pointed out, this is actually part 4 of a 5-episode arc, which surprises me because I thought that the opening arc ended with the last episode. But yeah, okay, listen. Quick synopsis of this. He-Man saves Grot's garden. He's a big, huge, hulking Hulk guy from an attack by Hoove and Karate. Okay, I have to say something about Karate. Holy crap. Okay. This is like, you got some white guy in a recording booth and they said, hey, we have a character whose name is Karate, who does karate. Can you do a voice for him? Let me think. I am Karate. Oh, welcome. It's like Matt Stone and Trey Parker making fun of Asian people, but there's no innocence to it. It's as harmful as you can get. So good Lord. So he saves this garden, and then Skeletor tricks this dude named Werbin, who is he's a peaceful guy who does not want to see people fight.
Just some old dude.
Skeletor tricks him into lowering Onnor's shield. That's the capital city of protection, so that Hoove can lead the evil mutants to invade Onnor and under the cover of a peace talk. So basically, this whole episode is, don't try to be peaceful.
Yeah.
Peace. People who want peace are idiots. Don't do that. You need to fight people and punch people. And also, it's got some very. There's a side plot about some goo that is some sticky white goo that gets everywhere. That I'm assuming that the animators and writers were whooping themselves laughing over that they were able to do it on a kid's show, but I'm watching it going, oh no, this is like
not
Human
so good,
Centipede.
right?
This is not good.
It's such a bad plot, though. It's just like there's nothing to it. Like, I don't want to over defend Filmation, but even in their bad plots, things were happening.
Yeah,
and I just feel like nothing really happens in this.
I will tell you, I'm just going to repeat the message that I sent you after I finished watching this episode.
Oh, yeah.
I said that I noticed this last time watching this last episode that this show has absolutely no personality. There is no personality in the show at all. It is paint by numbers, like literally telling stories that 5-year-olds could follow. There's no nuance. There's no characters that you can look at and say, oh, I really like him. That was one thing that Filmation Masters of the Universe had, was that, you had Man-at-Arms, you had Orko, you had He-Man, you had even Skeletor and Evil Lyn. You could watch them and go, wow, these are characters that I like. Even the bad guys, these are characters I like. Right now, the only
charismatic characters.
Yeah. Right now, the only character on the New Adventures of He-Man that I'm remotely interested in watching is Skeletor. And it's because they have done this very unique take on him that I actually like, where he's gone from being this bombastic, screaming bad guy to kind of being second fiddle in somebody else's army, but he's trying to worm his way up to the top, and he's just kind of a snake now.
Yeah.
And he's got this very, I would almost say, a comforting voice about him. A very comforting voice where if he walked up behind you in a dark alley and said, "My name is Skeletor," you'd be like, "Oh, hi, Skeletor." Now,
I think there's no
design,
doubt that he's a more intelligent Skeletor than the
yes. Now the
Filmation one.
design is ass.
There's a
I
lot to talk about with the animation. The lack of creativity in the show is glaring to me. For
It
example,
is
the henchman in the beginning of this, when the one you name what was it, Hooven
karate.
yeah,
Karate.
Karate. Like, looks like a mutant from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, I
Then
mean,
you've got those human dudes who look like they've come straight out of a G.I. Joe. And then
well,
you've got,
yeah. I mean,
this,
this is on the heels of the release of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. They knew what they were doing.
they were just not really creating anything original.
No,
They were draining a previous show, and they thought they could make it cool again. And they just stripped everything from it. Even He-Man, honestly, as a character, he's annoying. He's annoying.
he's
I
he's
like,
like he's like keto friendly bread,
yeah,
just tasteless, and no one likes him.
yeah. And he just lacks that certain strength that I feel He-Man had in the Filmation series.
Yeah,
Even if it was a corny one-liner, there was a way it was delivered, the way it was said. There was the
there was
fact
a
that
joy to it. John
yeah,
Irwin brought a joy and
exactly.
a gentleness to He-Man. This new He-Man, although I would not say that the voice acting is bad, it's a pale imitation. I wouldn't
Just
even call it an
lacks the
imitation. It's just
charisma.
some stranger put on my best friend's clothes and then took half of those clothes off because the costume's terrible.
Well, it's the interesting thing when you look at the show. What was the objective of the New Adventures of He-Man? What was the objective? Was the objective to reignite a toy line? Absolutely. That's one
Yep,
of the things.
yep.
But what was their target audience going to be? Was it the next generation of kids? So is that why they thought they had to redo it? Because these new little 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds are not going to gel with the design from the earlier in the decade.
I feel that this was a show that was put together by a committee of network executives. They
I
all
look,
got together and they're just like, what do kids like? They
bring
like
it dry.
mutants. Okay, cool. What else do they like?
Yeah.
Oh, they like space. Okay, cool. We can take this property we own, He-Man. We can put him in space and have him fight mutants. All right, call
It's
him a
almost like
massage place. Tell him I want a happy ending.
it feels like they almost branded it with He-Man after the fact.
Yeah, it
Because
doesn't
if you
feel like
see
He-Man.
these characters, even Skeletor vaguely resembles Skeletor.
It doesn't even look like Skeletor. Like I said,
It's like,
I kind of like the character though. I like what they've done with him, but the design
yeah.
is butt. I
Well,
don't
it's
like it at
horrible.
all.
You made a couple of major changes. You gave him Mr. Ed's teeth, like
Yeah.
horse teeth, which was really weird. And you gave him eyeballs.
That's again,
Why?
it's network executive meddling. They looked at him and they said, "Yeah, we don't want Skeletor to be that scary looking because we don't want parents calling us being all mad."
However, throughout that episode, Jason, I'll talk about some of the animation mistakes. But he, in the beginning of the episode, has eyelids because he blinks a couple of times, got eyelids.
Yep, yep.
To the point later in the episode when he blinks, there's no eyelids, his pupils blink.
Yeah. Very
There's another
strange.
moment in the animation too, which was horrid, where He-Man loses his sword, right? Fighting the monster, and it goes into the dirt, I believe, at one point, right? The next moment, if you watch it, He-Man walks into frame and the sword.
Well, yeah, it's like Captain America's shield. It just came.
No, he went and got it, but you know what I mean? Like the animation is so poor, it's like, no one will notice. Well,
Yeah,
I
it's just it's not.
And that's what I'm shocked about. This thing looks cheaper than it is absolutely a cheaper version, quality wise, from the technical animation aspect than the Filmation one, in my opinion.
I have to disagree. I actually think that the animation is a step up, but at the same time,
May have more frames.
I think it's I think it's poorly directed, and I think it's poorly put together. But the
Yeah.
animation is definitely a step up.
It's got a few more frames per second. I'll give it that one.
But I do think that it loses a lot of its charm too.
Well, there's no identity. I mean, that's the.
There's
I mean,
not.
and I
No.
know I'm being biased, but you know, it's very rare these days where you're able to create a universe that is distinct.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? And Eternia is distinct. Like the character designs are very specific to that world, and they're memorable, iconic images. And I'm more angry that really this show just decided to take a dump over all of that idea and then go with something that brings nothing new to the table whatsoever from a like. And I know I've only seen a few episodes, but yeah, you're right. The only interesting thing is Skeletor's personality.
Yeah. And I say that just because it's interesting. It's an interesting take on it.
Oh.
I am definitely not won over by it. I'm just like, huh, that's interesting. I just remember from the pilot, while they're actually at Snake Mountain, he walks up to a guard and he says
Yeah.
something about, no, do you think it's funny what I just said? Stop laughing. And now
Yeah.
you're breathing and it's making me mad. So stop breathing. Okay. And he goes and he does this speech. Then he turns around and goes, oh, you can start breathing now. And he just, I like that. I like that kind of snarkiness to him. Now, I miss old
You know,
Skeletor, but new Skeletor is fine. My dark secret, I have that Skeletor action figure right over there, but it's redone. So they took that green horse face off and they put like the skull on there. And it actually looks good. I like that. It looks really good.
well, the thing is, right, as much as we've only seen the beginning episodes, they made one season of this. However, it was 65 episodes, Jason.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this show. So I am not going to stand here and claim that I'm not open to watching more of it.
Oh, we're going to, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. But as far as first impressions keep going, like, you know, if I met this at a party, I'd be looking around trying to find someone else to make eye contact with and move the conversation on so far. But yeah, not much to say about the episode because, yeah.
I've forgotten so much about it. I just remember the weird.
Hey, man. Yeah.
I just remember the weird lesson about basically the whole problem was caused by this one guy who wants peace. And I'm just going to say, what the heck is wrong with wanting peace?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with wanting peace. And that is such a weird lesson for He-Man of all people to teach. And it just shows that these people had no idea who He-Man was or what He-Man stood for, because He-Man would have stood with that guy and said, yes, yeah, I agree. We should have peace, but we should also be wary. It would have been something like that. And it wouldn't have been, no, you're wrong. We need to be ready to fight at all times. No, screw you. You're not He-Man. I don't know who you are, you ponytail haven't.
Well, right now, as far as I'm concerned, it's Timu He-Man. That's what this is. At this point, and I'm happy later on after we watch a bunch of these episodes to come back and go, I was so wrong. They did such an amazing job with this character in the end. However, again, first impressions, like, ouch. Well, I'll be saying. But thank God that's not everything in the He-Man universe. There's always going to be lots of stuff to talk about. And right now, you should be checking out our last couple of news items because we're getting into the world of talking news with the power of J Skull. And there's some great stuff that we've been talking about already. I'm very excited about the future of this franchise. You know, it's okay to go back 34 years and harp on about a show. 35 years, actually, and harp on about a show.
You're old.
1990. We are old. All right, well, that's going to be it, guys. Chase, can you let them know how they could get involved with this?
Absolutely, but before I do that, I'm going to tell you what is coming up next here on the Power of J Skull, because my friend here has no idea that I've actually already picked the next episode, and we're going back to the OG series. Now, we got to have a little bit of eye wash right now. And we're going to take a look at the episode called The Rainbow Warrior. And this is a Queen Marlena episode. I bet you didn't know they had one of those, did you? And I'm also going to say it's one of the best of the series.
Wow, great. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
this is Jace, you know, he'll give you an hors d'oeuvre and you'll go,
That's right.
but then the main meal is delicious.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're gonna enjoy this one. I rewatched this one the other day, and it was setting off all these member berries in my head, going, I remember watching this as a kid. Wow, this is really
Rainbow
good.
Warrior.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Has one of my favorite Marlena scenes of all time in it. And whenever you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about because it kind of it justifies something I said a long time ago about Marlena.
Okay.
All right,
But definitely
so
gonna watch it.
if you would like to support us, check the video description below, click the link, and go to our Patreon. You can contribute as little as $5 a month or more, and you get all kinds of goodies. You get episodes early, you get some extra fun, stupid stuff from me, and all kinds of dumb stuff. You want to know what the dumb stuff is? Give us money. We'll do the dumb stuff for you. We're your dancing clowns. Just let us know. And of course, be sure to join us for the Rainbow Warrior right here
Can't
on
wait.
The Power of J Skull.